Because the nuns always told me that if you're on time, you're late. And I believe that.
All right, well, welcome. We're getting started a little bit early, but hey, why not, right? So come on in, guys. Sit up close. We're all family here. We're out for a great day at the show. My name is Jake Stevens. I'm a school teacher. I'm a local. I'm from Puyallup, but
What do you teach?
I teach social studies, middle school social studies.
Now, tell me, why did they stop teaching history of world civilization, or they stopped teaching the history of Western civilization in schools?
Well, I think that it's really dependent on districts, because my district does. So I currently teach ancient history. So I do Mesopotamia, and Egypt, and Rome, and Greece, and then later on we'll do medieval. And then in the junior high, because I'm at middle school, we have both. Junior high, they'll get Western Civ.
Oh, okay, that's good to
Yeah,
hear. Most of the country, and they canceled shop classes 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. A lot of schools just aren't, the electives are getting displaced because people want to have standardized testing in math and science.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah, tell me. They almost didn't replace our art teacher this year, and I threw a fit because I survived on art class while in middle school. So.
And look at you today.
Right?
There he goes.
All right, so like I said, you're not here for me, but if you're curious, I'm a big Star Wars guy. You might know something about that.
No, I just showed up and it was another day of work.
Yeah, it was a good one. What I'm going to do is hopefully just get to know John Ratzenberger here today. We do actually have a sizzle reel for you. You want to see that?
Ask them.
Do you guys want to see it? Yes, of course you do. Of course you do.
I'm facing the wrong direction. How's it so far?
That's good news for you. Both of your opponents came up with incorrect responses. And what that means is that even if you're wrong,
Lights.
as long as you didn't do anything foolish like wager everything, you're a cinch winner.
Well, you don't have to see my answer, do we there, Alex? You're the tournament champion.
We're running out of time, and we are going to have to take a look at your response. You wrote down, who are three people who've never been in my kitchen. What were the real names of Cary Grant, Tony Curtis, and Joan Crawford?
Be that as it may, Alex, those people have never been in my kitchen.
But obviously, that's not what we were going for when we wrote up that clue.
Obvious to who?
Don't worry. Unless you risk more than $21,600, you will be the new Jeopardy champion. So let's take a look and see what your wager was. You bet 22,000 big ones. Let's see that to 0. You bet it all. Cliff, why would you do something like that?
It's because I knew that those people had never been in my kitchen. Curtis is still alive, guys.
There's nothing more we can do tonight. The Shielders must be closed.
You know, postal carrier is pretty much the Indiana Jones of your civil servants. Just as Indy faces off rattlesnakes or a sewer full of rats, I have to daily, mind you, trade wits with the Flanagan's dog. Hey, you like impression?
Evil Dr. Porkchop!
That's Mr. Evil Dr. Porkchop to you.
Behold the Underminers! I always believed you, but never defeated me!
Here we come, boom. Well, get ready for Porkchop. Hey, good morning, Mr. Fredrickson. Need any help, sir?
No. Yeah. Tell your boss over there that you boys are ruining our house.
Well, just to let you know, there must be evidence that you took this off your hands for double his last offer. What do you say to that? Think that's a no, then? Hey, come on. Hey, let them come.
Please remain stationary. A service bot will be here to assist you momentarily.
George. Oh.
Please remain stationary.
dumbass is mom losing her marbles?
Well, obviously, she wanted to have the party before the move.
There goes my magic hair! Clicking!
No, Vicky!
All right, nobody look till I get my cork back in. Do you know what you would like to see?
Yes, I think I do.
Don't be concerned with style. Excuse me, ladies. Does anyone know where we might find the owl at Al's Toy Barn?
I can help. I'm tour guide Barbie. Please keep your hands, arms, and accessories inside the car and no flash photography. Thank you.
I'm a married spud. I'm a married spud. I'm a married spud. Single fellas. Welcome to the Himalayas. Abominable. Can you believe that? Do I look abominable to you? Why can't they call me the adorable snowman? Or the agreeable snowman for crying out loud? I'm a nice guy. So, no, don't worry. It's Lemon. Oh, I seriously doubt he's getting this kind of mileage. Wait a minute here. They're just using the same actor over and over. What kind of a cut-rate production is this?
One of the hardest working people in Hollywood and one of the most beloved voices in animation. Please welcome John Ratzenberger.
Thank you. After that introduction, I've got nothing left to say, really.
Oh, well, that's our goal here to find something for you to say. So I thought we would skip back to the beginning quite a bit. When did...
Well, I was born.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know.
1806.
Where?
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Okay, but can we... you've spent some time here before, though, right?
I raised my kids out on Vashon Island.
That's what I thought.
Because when I started having kids, I looked around Los Angeles. Oh, this is no place to raise children. So I bought 10 acres out on Vashon and gave them the Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn kind of childhood that I had. Because I didn't want them to miss out on getting muddy and dirty and playing in the woods and all that stuff. So. And as it turns out, all studies now show that that type of childhood, you get more common sense, there's more self-esteem, kids are more creative than keeping them in the house playing with computers. So there. Did you stay home playing with computers? These guys here? Oh, right, okay, so, you know, as a matter of fact, the Commandant of West Point, I asked him the question, where do the best Army officers come from? He said, farms, without a doubt. Because from a young age, you're problem solving. It's not just playing, you're actually solving problems. Fixing your own bicycle, climbing a tree, but all that builds up into an adult who knows what they're doing. So there. Okay, now I'm out of here. That's my
Time. You still own property in Vashon?
Oh, you want to buy some?
How much? I'm a school teacher, remember.
Yeah, you can't afford it.
Yeah, I know. All right, so raised in Connecticut, you got an acting bug at some point. How did that come about?
I was chasing this girl in college, and she was in the acting department. No, honestly, that's the truth. And I had no desire to be an actor. Last thing on my list of things, I wanted to be a tugboat captain. But this good-looking gal, Patty was her name, she was in the drama club. And I thought, okay, I'll go to the drama club and, you know, something will work out. Well, I got, for the play, it was called Summer and Smoke by Tennessee Williams. It was very dramatic, depressing, Southern play about alcoholics, etc. And I got the understudy for the lead, which I thought was great, because that means I don't have to memorize anything. I can just goof around. So I didn't even pay attention to rehearsals, never read the play, nothing. The night before opening night, the lead quit. I've got 24 hours to learn the play and all the blocking, which I couldn't do, it's impossible. So I did my best, and the day before, and at some point I just said, oh, heck with this, I'll just make up my own lines. Because I know what the story was. And so I started making up my own lines and people started to laugh. And I thought, oh, I get this. Just say funny stuff and you're good. Even though it was a very dramatic play, Tennessee Williams. Oh, the audience is going, laughing and having a good old time. So that's when I caught the bug, because somebody who was a theater director from out of town was in the audience and came up to me and says, you are an excellent improviser. And I said, what's that? I said, well, you just made up your own lines. I said, well, I didn't have any choices. You know, the only choice was do that or, you know, hit the fire escape. And I said, so anyway, that's how my career kind of started.
So did you ever let that lead know that they turned you into this? That lead that dropped out? And
What about him?
did you ever let him know that he was kind of the reason?
I don't even know what his name was.
Oh yeah, I guess you didn't memorize the lines, right?
I wasn't paying attention.
So you start working professionally in the 70s.
Yeah, I went over to England, 1971. I was actually a carpenter. I was a journeyman carpenter. I helped build a stage in Woodstock. For you older folks. Well, I want to apologize for it. Because I think it's the Woodstock generation that ruined most things. And I like your educational system, right? So, that's another argument there. But, yeah, I was a carpenter, went over to England and met up with another guy I had gone to college with. He was a social worker in London, and we started writing and touring our own comedy shows throughout Europe. And that's when I first started getting paid for it, yeah.
We're at a Comic-Con, so I thought it would be interesting to point out. I learned something new in my preparation, but you were in Superman and Superman 2.
I think everybody here but you knows that.
I had no idea. How
Did you know that? Who didn't know that? See, like, okay.
Wow. See,
Everybody in the back row. We're all knuckleheads in the back row anyway. Because that's where I spent my college career, was in the back row.
So, controller and controller number 2 is what I see you down for Superman. Very cool. That was, how was that experience?
Just showing up, and they said, go ahead there and get a uniform, and then they said, go in that room and get some makeup, and now stand here and talk. Okay, cut, and now go home. That's pretty much it. It's not like you're going around going, no, it's a job. It's like this, you know.
Sure. And I'm going to guess that that was kind of close to what your Empire Strikes Back situation was, although that was...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for actors, when you start any project, whether it's Cheers, Star Wars, Pixar, you never start by saying, oh, I bet you this is going to be a long-running, legendary piece of work, ever. I don't know any actor that does. And if they do, they're nuts. Because you never know when your next job's coming from, ever. So you just try to do the best you can, try not to break any furniture, show up on time, really, and be prepared. That's the best. And then what happens after that is completely in God's hands, nothing to do with you.
Now you played Major Derlin in Empire Strikes Back. Do you even have a set? Did you have a name for him on set, or was that something that came out later?
I forget.
But you came back to the character many, many years ago.
Did I?
You did.
Do what?
You did a voiceover for Lego, starring.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So one of the Lego
that's
Freemaker adventures.
That's cartoons, you know.
Yes, I do know. You are going to be synonymous with some of the best cartoons in the world. So we'll definitely get there.
What are the best cartoons in the world?
Well, Pixar does a very nice job.
Oh, I'm in a couple of those.
I heard. But before we get to Pixar, you're probably also as infamous as America's favorite postman, Cliff Clavin.
Thank you. Is that what you're dressed up as?
A gas station attendant.
All right, same thing.
Yeah.
Gas station attendant, mailman. Yes.
So, I recently learned that you actually came up with the role of Cliff Clavin while auditioning for Norm's role.
No, it wasn't Norm's role. At the very beginning of Cheers, if any of you see the very first episodes, you'll notice that there's probably 6 or 7 floaters. These other guys just sort of in a gaggle or a small group. And that's what the audition was for. It had nothing to do with Norm.
So, but it was your creation though, and you impressed them enough, or?
Yeah, well, because I had never auditioned.
Okay.
Before, and I'd been working 10 years straight in London, but based on my own shows, I got all these other jobs, but I'd never auditioned in my life. Cheers was my first audition, and because I never went to acting school, I don't know what to do, and so I walked in and did badly, and on the way out the door, I said, "Do you have a bar know-it-all?" And they said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "What?" Oh, I thought somebody said, they said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "You know, the kind of guy who," and I used props that were on the guy's desk. I said, "You know, the original ballpoint pen was invented by the Bish brothers, who shortened the name to Bic," and which is actually true. But the way you say it, it sounds like BS. And I know at that point, I was just trying to get them to laugh enough so that I could leave with my dignity. That's all I could care about, because I was going back home, which was London at the time, you know, in 2 days, so I didn't care. And then I got the call just as I was packing to go. Dude, you've been holding that camera up for a long time. Did you get the picture? Huh? No, I mean, are you doing stills or a movie?
He's live tweeting.
What's that?
He's live tweeting.
Oh, you're live tweeting? Yeah, you're breaking the law somehow, aren't you? It's all by the look on your face.
Over a decade on one show, one of the most popular shows in America.
11 years, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you've told 1,000 stories about it, but is there one fond memory that comes out of spending a decade with essentially the same cast?
Oh, a ton of fun memories. Can't tell you guys about it. Just, you know, you got the Me Too movement and all that nonsense. No, we used to play tricks on each other backstage and that kind of stuff, so. Normal stuff.
Woody Harrelson is the trickster?
No, me and George.
Oh, George. Awesome. Awesome. And
Here's another guy doing the same thing. Did you get your picture yet?
It's video. Sorry.
Are they allowed to do that?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll ask you. Are they allowed to do that?
Huh? Well, do whichever you want to do. It's going to make a difference. Okay.
So, Cheers has a very, very emotional ending. what was your thoughts after the ending of Cheers? And you, I mean, not only did you play for 11 years on the character, but man, I was going through and looking. Cliff Clavin showed up at a lot of places. I saw that he was on St. Elsewhere, Mickey's 60th birthday party, Wings, The Simpsons, Frasier. He just was a man about town, it seemed like.
Yeah, all in the same uniform.
Yeah.
That was the beauty of, that was the beauty of Cliff. I never had a costume change. Between scenes, everybody else had to rush to the dressing rooms, get into another costume. I stayed right at that bar playing a crossword puzzles. Didn't have to move.
You drank a lot of
It was a
apple
dream
juice?
job.
Apple juice over the years?
No, that wasn't apple juice. It was like a cup of salt. It was horrible.
Oh.
But every now and then we'd have the prop guy put in real beer.
Was the final episode in real beer?
I can probably.
Probably. So you came to an end after 11 years. Were you? What were your thoughts after that? Just look for your next gig, retire, relax.
Well, I was thankful that now the Brinks trucks wouldn't be ripping up my front lawn. You know, dropping off my paycheck. Because enough of that nonsense. And, let's see, that's about when we moved up here.
93-ish.
All right, let's say so. Yeah, I had about 10 acres out in Vashon. I started one of the schools out in Vashon. If anybody's through the Harbor School.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm the founder of that school. It's still going.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Speaking of schools,
Yeah.
you looking for a job?
Depends how much you're paying. I live in North Tacoma, so the commute might be a bit rough. The traffic's a little worse up here now. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh boy, did I notice. It's worse than Los Angeles.
Oh, I know.
What's the matter with you people?
Well,
Huh?
We don't have time.
the problem is California's coming up here.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do about it?
Well, did you see I-5 and how many bridges and stuff that's been going on? That'll go on for another decade. They hope that'll fix. Yeah,
Wow.
we'll see.
What's that?
Rebellions are built on hope.
That's Star Wars.
Do they know that? Are you on your meds today? Yeah, he is.
Now, do you have any particular favorite experiences or appearances? Not Cliff Clavin, but I mean, Hill Street Blues, Magnum P.I., Love Boat, Murphy Brown. I mean, you were a hard-working actor. Is there any one of those that was exceptionally fun or horrible?
No, they're all fun. Every job I've ever had, I always think that somehow I snuck in the kitchen window when they were guarding the front door. Like I'm really not supposed to be here. Even when I was directing shows, here I'm directing famous actors, and I always had to feel that my high school principal was going to show up with one of my report cards and say, "What's he doing here directing these famous people? Look at his report card. It's all C's and D." And then I found out that actually it's C students who rule the world. Do you realize that? Because socially they're better. They deal with people better because in college they took the time to party. So they handle people better. The A students are all kind of squirrely. They don't understand the give and take of personal relationships. Now, you're probably an A student, huh? Yeah. Well, except you. I'm talking in generalities, but not you.
Well, hopefully he's not
Hey, Mom.
partying just yet, right?
What's that?
I said, hopefully he's not partying just yet.
Yeah, I know you're not, because you don't have any tattoos.
What about F students?
What about F students?
What's that?
What about F students?
Someone's got to wash dishes. Well, they're not going to wash themselves. They'll dig the ditches. Come on.
true. Very true. So you had a steady gig for most of the 80s and into the 90s. You also were making all these appearances. Sounds like you were directing as well. What are some shows you were directing?
Let's see, what's the guy?
Oh,
That's like magic. The Burt Reynolds show was that Evening Shade.
Yeah.
Sister Sister. Yeah.
There is a show, and I'm curious if this was your first time, kind of not on screen, but behind the microphone. It's a little show that's kind of become a little bit of a cult following, Captain Planet.
You still know that? I played Rigger.
Yeah. Rigger, one of the eco-villains.
That's right.
So, was that your first voiceover work?
Oh, no.
No?
I've done a ton of it in London.
Oh, okay. For anything we'd know?
Well, foreign films, what they would do, put the film up on the screen, and they're trying to translate it into English. So my job was to, let's say in Polish, it's some character comes out and says, "Jak się masz? Dobrze." And I have to follow the same lip movement and translate it into English with sort of the same meaning. So it's like, "How you doing? Okay?" So I'd have to study it and then, the best I can, translate it, but use words that match the lip movement. So I did that for quite a bit for Hungarian, Polish, Italian films.
Okay. So, Captain,
Tu parlo italiano? No? I got a bunch of knuckleheads. Go ahead.
So that was in 1990, though. I mean, that you were doing stuff here, voiceover work that was pretty, well known. I think one of the big questions we all have: how did you come about with Toy Story? And then, of course, we'll follow that up with many others. But so, how did Toy Story come about for you?
Well, a long time ago, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone.
Do we need pillows for this one?
The phone made a noise, so I picked it up and said, "Hello." And it was John Lasseter, so he said, "Hey, you want to do a voice of a piggy bank?" I said, "Sure." "Thank you, goodbye." That's pretty much it.
So you have
I wish I had more of an exciting story.
So you have a really good agent, or you knew John personally?
None of the above.
Oh, okay. Just came looking for you, huh? Cliff Clavin maybe influence?
Could be.
Yeah, because I think Ham represents...
I never ask questions. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
All right. Well, my job is to ask the questions here.
Go ahead.
So, Toy
And he's
Story...
doing a heck of a job, isn't he, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay, so you wowed them over with Pixar. Obviously, Lasseter really enjoyed you. Was it his idea to have you come back for the next one, or how did that work?
It was him, Andrew Stanton, and I think Darla Anderson.
Okay, so that was Bug's Life, right? Was number 2?
No, that was Toy Story. Well, to come back for the second one, yeah.
Yes. Oh,
but
to come back.
they had told me after the first one that I was going to be in every single one of the movies.
Did they really? Oh, wow. That's awesome that you... Well, I mean, we really didn't know what Toy Story was going to do. Disney didn't know what to do with Toy Story. They underfunded it. Yeah.
Little did Disney know that Pixar was about to save them.
Right.
Because Disney was really heading down the tubes at the time.
I remember that. I think they were looking at even closing parks and, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to put Disney in, make them into storage units.
So wow, so that was nice to know that if it did go on, and they've kept good on that word. And shoot, how many is that now? I've lost count.
How many is what?
How many Pixar appearances are there for you?
I've been doing it 25 years now.
Yeah, wow. Pixar, 25 years, every single one of them. You have to be one of the highest grossing actors out there.
I think in terms of box office receipts, I was told by a journalist the other day that I'm number 3.
Really?
In the history,
That's amazing.
In the history of Hollywood, yeah.
I remember Harrison Ford was up there for a long while because he had such big hits in like so many successive decades, but that's really impressive.
Who?
Do you know Harrison from
Yes. Well, I
Empire?
did Empire Strikes Back with him, and also did Hanover Street.
Oh,
None of you know Hanover Street. It's World War II. Well, yeah.
very nice.
I was the turret gunner of that plane that he flew.
All right, so Pixar, but you voiced everything from, we got to see in the sizzle reel everything from toys.
Sizzle reel. Did you make that?
No. I think Derek's to blame for that one.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Okay. You play a Yeti in the Monsters movies, and I believe that character is coming back, if I am correct. Monsters at Work is coming out in Disney Plus here soon. That's anything you can share?
Not really. It's a series based on Monsters Inc. I think it would be played on streaming whatever the heck that is.
Disney Plus, I think.
What's it
is.
called?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plots?
Plus.
Plots. That's German for sit, isn't it? Or stand?
What
is it? Anybody sprechen Sie Deutsch? Gee, you guys. Don't they have books up here? Okay. Good.
We speak Canadian around here pretty fluently.
Ah, do you know how Canada was named?
It feels like a setup.
Huh? No. Yeah, they took the three wisest men from all the provinces and put the letters of all the alphabet in a hat, and they asked the wise men, the first of the three, to pick out a letter, and he picked out one. He said, "C, eh?" And then you kind of get the rest. Oh, I'm glad you could make it. What do you think? Everything all right out there? Good. Well, here comes Dad.
So do you have plans for...
Boy, you guys have missed so much.
We were talking about you.
It's been such an enlightening... Okay, good.
What's your big plans, or do you have any for Toy Story 4, which is just around the corner?
Yeah, my wife and I just went Tuesday to the red carpet opening, and it's good. It's Pixar, but the big hit was my wife's shoes. She had commissioned someone to make her a pair of high heels with all the Pixar characters on them. Basically, Amy the Pig and a couple others. And she had a purse made with Amy the Pig's face on it. So that was the big hit in the red carpet, everybody taking pictures. But you see, if you go on the internet, that's what it's called, right?
Yes, interwebs maybe.
Interweb. The pictures will come up. But it's good. It's
Yeah,
really good.
I've heard great reviews already, so we're really looking forward to it. Pixar, though, doesn't put out one movie at a time, or doesn't work on one movie at a time. So we know that they have the Disney Plus show. We know that Toy Story 4 is coming. I know you probably can't say anything, but you've probably got some more. Have you already done work on future projects?
Don't take away my security clearance if I say any more.
I think we'll take that as
It's
most
worse.
likely.
It's worse than that. At the NSA or the CIA.
Do they give you scripts that you get to
I
look
can't.
at?
I can't. I should. I've said too much already.
Okay, how about your past work? When you are prepping for Toy Story, so your Pixar work, do they record you individually, or do they bring the cast in and you guys do group to feed off each other?
No, it's all one. It's single. One at a time. Because if you have a group, 5 people, 4 of them might be right on the money, and one person jiggles some change in their pocket or sneezes or something, and then you got to start from the beginning. So you just do it one at a time. Because Pixar does all the heavy lifting, because the director is the one who also wrote it. So they know every sigh, every nuance, every comma, every exclamation point of every single character, so they know how it blends. So you just simply listen to the director and do what they ask you to do. Sorry.
No,
Did I go into all that?
no, that's perfect. I was going to ask, you were part of some of these mega franchises, whether it's Toy Story, whether it's Superman, whether it's Empire Strikes Back. Do you collect anything based on your characters?
Yeah, my paycheck. That's it. No, you know, I wish, because I lived in Europe for 10 years, and I really do kick myself that I didn't take a single photograph. I could have at least collected those coasters from pubs. Something, not a thing. But I do get really nice gifts. Today, as a matter of fact, I just got presented with, it's real special. It's going to go on my wall very soon. And do you remember the guy's name? He's an artist, but anyway, he did a rendering of a bar, but with every character I've ever done, Pixar and non-Pixar. There it is. He's got one right there. Hey, what's the artist's name?
It is Russ. Or Russ Richards.
Russ Richards. So if you look him up out there on the floor, but that's one of the more special ones I've gotten.
Russ Richards is actually the one that designed the robot logo for SummerCon and this convention logo as well. So, yep, he is the show artist and commissioned that just for you. It's very cool. So, do you know that in 2007, I'm a big Star Wars guy, like I said, I'm a big collector, that's what I do when I'm not teaching. You had an action figure of Major Derlin made of you. Do you have that figure?
Yeah, I didn't have it made.
Well, yeah. No, I think Hasbro had it made. But
Somebody, well, it wasn't me. But what I do is I go into these comic book shops and I see if they have any. I say, you know that Major Dooley? Oh yeah, we've got 3 of them over here. And so I go and I'll buy them. And then I tell them who I am. Because that price will shoot right up.
right?
If I say, oh yeah, you know, that's me. Oh, well, $75 a piece now. So I get them for $10 a piece, I'm good to go. But I use them, I sign them and use them for different charity events and whatnot.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, sir, I've been asking all the questions. You want to open it up to this lovely crowd? Do you trust them enough?
Either this guy is saluting or he's got a question.
Well, we got a guy here. Tim is going to have a microphone, so if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. Tim's going to come over to you and...
Well, at least you can talk loud enough for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you stand up, give us your name, and then ask your question.
Hi, John. My name is Jordan. My question was, in all of the Pixar movies that you've ever done, all of the voice acting and all of the major stars that you've interacted with, like the guy that did the car and the guy that did the cowboy and all of that stuff, which of them was the most...
Tom Hanks and Tim Allen.
Yeah, you know, all of those guys, those whatevers, those nobodies. So, and are any of them, were any of them the most, which of them was the most unagreeable or hard to work with?
The worst person to work with so far was when I had a job on a golf course. I was 18, and the boss's son was a real pain in the neck. And since then, it's been a piece of cake.
Hey, George.
Hi. nice socks. See his socks? He's got NASA socks on. NASA. Now, have you ever gotten applause for your socks before? This should be, when you go home in your diary, dear diary, today a whole audience applauded my socks.
What was your favorite person voice actor what was your favorite Pixar character you played?
Favorite Pixar character I played? I think P.T. Flea. Because it just makes me laugh. And that's no other reason but that, but just makes me laugh every time I do them. Now, what's your name?
Oliver.
Thank you, Oliver. I'm going to get a pair of socks just like that.
Hi there, I'm Justin. I was just wondering, do
Is
you...
your last name Case?
No. Oh, that's good. No, sir, it is not. I was just wondering if you had a favorite... I was just wondering if you had a favorite voice acting clip in Pixar that's just a brief cameo. Or, you know, not a really big part, just a quick appearance, like...
No, not really. I wish I could help you out.
Okay.
I don't know, because you're filming this, so I'm kind of leaving you hanging. But the truth is, no.
Okay, thank you.
It's like collecting money at church, isn't it?
John, how did the Travel Channel show come about, the Made in America? How did that come about? How did you wind up doing that? Did you enjoy doing that very much?
I've always been fascinated by people who actually made things for a living, because people who have skills like that, whether it's a machinist or a welder or a carpenter, in our civilization, they are the essential people. Believe it or not, actors didn't build civilization, nor did sports celebrities. It's people who actually know how to make things. The mechanics, the welders, the plumbers. That's what builds civilization and holds it all together. And so I wanted to do homage to those people, because in Hollywood, by and large, those people are made fun of. You know, if you're a plumber in a movie, somehow they're going to make fun of you. But it should be just the opposite, in my point of view. So I did the show Made in America, and the company came to me and they said, "You've got Made in America stamped on your forehead." And I was very proud that they said that, because I'm an unabashed patriot. I've lived all over the world, and I can tell you that this is the place, if you're gonna get sick or you want good food, this is the place to be. So, thank you. But also, my father was a truck driver. My mother worked in a factory. So I wanted to say thank you to them. Because, again, that's what keeps us all going. You know, that's what keeps it all humming. And so I did 5 years of that, Made in America. And then went all over the country, visited about 300 factories of people that actually made things. And I'd still be doing it, but the Travel Channel had a change of hierarchy, the presidencies, and so they wanted me to start doing different things that I said, there's enough food shows out there. I don't need to be another one. So that's why the show ended.
Yeah, about how many cities did you actually visit, you think? Was it the 300 or were there actually more?
Probably about 100. But, with 100 times, and every city we went to did 3 different companies within a 60-mile radius of that city. But yeah, north, south, east, and west, all over. I really enjoyed it, because I love doing that. And I love traveling. I love just getting on the road, scooting out there and see what adventures. Because I think it's because I grew up Not that you asked why, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I grew up reading James Fenimore Cooper books, Last of the Mohegans, Deerslayer. There were books all about individuals who, not knowing what's out there, go out there anyway. And they figured, you know, like the old man in the sea. I don't know what's going to happen, but by myself, I'm going to go out and I'm going to figure it out. And that's the way I grew up. That's the America I grew up in, and the books that I was reading, and a bunch of books that were handed down to me by my father, Tom Swift books, and Tom Swift and his flying machine, Tom Swift and the City of Gold. So there were all these adventures, but as an individual, you didn't need a group. Like, okay, here's what I'm interested in. This makes me curious. I want to know how this is done. Go find out. And so that's, again, that's where that comes from. Thank you.
I have a question about Cheers. There are all these wonderful musical moments throughout the series where the cast will sing together, like they do We Will Rock You, or they do Carousel, You'll Never Walk Alone, or the Irish Lullaby. And I was just curious, I've always wondered about the origin of those, if that was you guys hanging out on the set, just making stuff up in between takes, and they said that's
For
great.
rehearsal.
Yeah.
Well, just because we used to goof around a lot. And then it's like, hey, let's do that. And so it ends up in the show.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Like when Woody fell in love with Kelly and made a song, Kelly, 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 Kelly. Well, I came up with the line, and your hair is so clean. And that was just a rehearsal. I said, oh, add that. And he did, and it ended up in the show.
Another Cheers related question. What are your favorite beers?
Again, I spent 10 years in England, so I'm partial to lagers. I like Belgian beers. I like the ones a little bit flavored, you know, blackberry or something like that. Kind of the monks used to make. So that's basically it was the monks that saved civilization with the universities. People don't realize that. The whole idea of colleges and universities were started by monks, the Irish monks. And they made beer because the water was so bad. They had to boil it, so hence beer. But before I start sounding like Cliff.
I'm curious while we get our next question up here. You spent a lot of time with Norm Peterson on the show. What's your relationship with George White in real life?
Good. I'll get him on the phone now if you like.
That'd be amazing.
Does that mean I have to do that?
Yeah. FaceTime him. But you guys are good buds?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been 11 years next to each other. I mean, when you think about it, as a job description, if you read that in a newspaper, oh boy, I need a job. Let me go through the one ads. You go, oh, here's one. Sit at a bar, crack jokes, get paid a lot of money. Guaranteed for 11 years. And it's true. I sat at a bar and got paid to crack jokes.
Amazing. Do you have anything else upcoming other than Pixar that we should be on the lookout for?
What was that? Sound like a rifle cocking. Well, yeah, I just, I don't know if I can talk about it, but I got a series that they're interested in with me as a grandpa. Because it occurred to me and a lot of other people that children, I talked a little bit about before, really have no idea what the outdoors is about. The whole idea of, when's the last time you saw kids building a tree house? And that used to be kind of common. But anyway, it's about, I don't want to go too much into it, 'cause somebody here will probably steal the idea. Yeah, you.
He's recording, so, you know.
Yeah, he's kind of squirrely, this guy, I don't know.
We got a question back here?
So there's been a long story tradition of people taking memorabilia from shows after they end. Is there anything in particular you've grabbed from any of your programs that you're...
Did everybody hear that? Oh, because your microphone's off. But you look good holding it.
If I swallow it. There's been a long story tradition of various actors taking mementos from programs that they've been on. Is there anything that you've grabbed as memorabilia from something you were on?
From that show, from Cheers?
From anything in general.
No. But on the Cheers, the last day, because I always carry a pocket knife since I was a kid, you know, a little Swiss Army knife or something. So I carved my initials in the bar top. And then George did the same thing. I gave him the knife and he did the same. So to see if it's the authentic Cheers bar, you look in that corner. If our initials aren't there, it's not the Cheers bar. But as far as taking anything, I can't even think of anything I'd want. Chewbacca, maybe. The outfit, no. But no, I can't think of. Cause I got stuff anyway. I still do carpentry, so my garage is filled with tools and all kinds of nonsense. I got no room for anything else.
Do you know what became of the bar?
I think it's holed up somewhere in Hollywood, in some room they use for special events or some restaurant, but I don't know.
All right, we got time for probably 2 more questions. Back here?
Hello, my name is Brandon. And
Hi, Brandon.
Hi. And I wanted to
And
ask
I'm an alcoholic. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, in regards to like the Pixar movies, do they want you to pretty much like kind of stick to the script most of the time, or have there been moments where you improvised or ad-libbed a line and it made it into the film?
No, they know when they hire me, that's what they get. So yeah, I'll give them what they want off the page, but I'll always add my own spices. And I probably got a 50-60% rate that it ends up in the movie or the show or something. Oh.
Hi. Hello. I'm Sam.
Hi.
How you doing? I'm just curious. Being a voice actor, you're so creative and everything. Do you have a hobby that, a side note, like art or any kind of fun hobbies that you might have besides reading? I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I look at life as a hobby. It's like, let's go explore. I've always been curious. And I remember my mother told me that when I was younger, on the way to school, on the school bus, I'd ask the bus driver things like, how deep in the ground do those telephone poles go? And I'm like 6 years old. And the bus driver goes, what? Get out of here, kid. But no, hobby, I guess if, any hobby. Well, I always I've had boats, pretty much, and fishing. Archery has always been top of my list. I've been an archer since I was about your age, Oliver. And I still do it. I still arch. What's that?
Is that what they call it? Arch? Arching?
Well, I say I'm an archer, so I arch. You arch? Very good. No, I'm a recurved archer. People who know bows will know what that is. You've got compound bow, you've got long bow, recurved bow, crossbow, but I'm a recurved guy.
All right, our final question of the day.
Why? This is fun.
This is fun, but unfortunately we have to share the stage.
With who?
With who? Nope, she don't know. Who knows? I'll tell you who. The comic book man.
Nobody's ever heard of him. Go ahead.
Well, I love pretty much everything you've been in, but I was actually just watching something the other day that I love this role that you did. But you actually were in an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah. And you played Santa.
Oh, Santa, yeah.
I was just thinking, I was wondering if you could be Santa, would you want that job since he is one of the ultimate craftsmen and makers?
Ooh. Now that the word maker is a new word. That's kind of like a hippie word. Right. It used to be called tinkerers. That's what everybody did. I don't know, because it's again, here I'm going this cliff, but it wasn't that long ago where most of us in America lived in agrarian society, lived on or near farms, and therefore had a lot of different skills. Even if you were like the barber in town, you still had to know how to raise your own food. You still had to know how to take care of a horse. Well, if you take care of a horse, you probably got a wagon. How do you take care of the wagon? The leather harnesses. But you had all of those skills. But now everything's come down to you may have one skill, like social studies. And boy, you're talking about making a fortune. But you know what I mean? I mean, everybody knew a lot of things at one time. That's what built the civilization, and it's not so much anymore.
I agree with you. Actually, my brother and I both have tons of skills. That's something that our mother was really adamant about, was making sure that we had a very diverse and well-rounded.
Like what? What are your skills?
Actually, myself, I'm an artist. I've also redone almost every room in my house by hand. I actually grew up working on cars with my brother. I go off-roading with him. I actually am a fairly good shot with a gun and with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, see, you don't have anything to worry about. What kind of cars you work on?
Most of the
Is that your brother there?
Yeah.
You don't want him to talk? No, I understand. You know, all your life she's been doing this to you. So you don't want to. What kind of cars?
Mostly like Toyotas recently. Did a lot of rally racing, so going really fast in the woods and that sort of stuff.
Oh, so you guys are serious mechanics.
Yeah, I went to school because I wanted to be able to repair an old car, so it was made out of metal, so I took welding. And then to have an engine, so I took automotive. And so that way I can do everything that I want to myself and not have to rely on someone else.
You're way ahead. Well, you were way ahead of your time. Because I think other people now, even parents, are going to start thinking, you know, that's probably the better way to be, instead of forcing children into one thing. Because when I was 14, I said, I want to learn how to build a house and everything in it. And I did. So, I mean, the furniture might not look great, but you can sit on it. But you know what I mean? Because it was that Renaissance quality that we all used to have, and that basically that's why I do those shows, to let's see if we can't stir it up again.
Well, we want to thank you so much for spending some time with us and learning more. Ladies and gentlemen, John Ratzenberger.
Where's the comic book man?
I think they're on their way, but please.
The comic book man's not coming.
He's coming. But John, we want them to come see you, right? You're out here autographing and taking pictures this weekend.
Right.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a
Stop
great
by
day.
anytime.
And